do find it an odd sense of irony my entire life. I have hated emotionally stunted people and I've always been at odds, and these people who should be reclassified as autistic and forced to work subpar jobs and probably not they naturally abuse their wives. Like when I reported the church, I also said every member of the church abused their wives. 80% of them, yeah, 80% of them got in trouble for spousal abuse. It's because they're emotionally stunted. They can't connect with you in a meaningful way. Their relationships are enmeshments. Okay, their familiarity with you is the same as a lizard or a reptile or a crocodile. Like they're, I don't. Yeah, like they're not human beings. I don't. I remember the church there, they explained to me that you gotta love bomb. Like if you like a woman, you gotta love bomb her and get her high on LSD and bug her phone, and if she gets out of line, you poison her with selenium and just, you guys just can't take a fucking L. Like holy shit. But that's kind of off the rails. I find it hilarious that this church mass produces, obviously through trauma and rape, mass produces emotionally stunted people, and an army of them has gotten me killed. Like in my entire life, I have just been trying to get away from them, and I think like this is one of the things in Mad Max Fury Road is Max is running from these people, and that is exactly what I have done my entire life. I have just wanted, my mother's emotionally stunted, my aunt's emotionally stunted, my dad, his wife. These people are all emotionally stunted and they are retarded. They make bad decisions and they don't have introspective, so they don't have the ability to evaluate that they make bad decisions. And they can't admit when they're wrong, just like a 2-year-old can't admit when they're wrong. So they just stare at you, they shit on the floor and stare at you, and they don't say anything, they just stare at you, because they're disgusting human beings. Like, I don't really bother with it. I could explain my parents' emotional trauma, my mom peeing herself, or my dad finding his dad hanging in the garage with a power cord around his neck, which I'm really starting to think that might be the way for me to do it also. He might have had a good idea there, but like, the other side of this is just like the fact that something like the church has been allowed to persist under the United States government and they were fucking aware of it. Like the FBI had file after file after file linking serial killers and human trafficking rings, and then just saying we can't prove it, even though it is a designated part of the religion. Like, what the fuck? You can't prosecute somebody for their religion. We need to modify that law. Okay, because if your religion is human trafficking and murder, maybe you should fucking probably at very least put these people on a watch list and stare at them and wait for them to fuck up and then catch them. Like, I just, whatever, dude. Fucking, I mean, the entire thing is rigged, and I think that's the point of the church, is they have so many emotionally stunted retards, and these guys are subpar and everything. They even working at Papa John's, at Wendy's, the fastest tell with these guys is they lack proper skills, and they lack proper social skills. They're weird. And they're weird because they're emotionally stunted. Like, and the amount of them that responded to me just being genuinely real and nice to them, and then later accusing me of being manipulative when I was just being nice. And I guess when somebody's actually being nice to you, it feels like a manipulation, especially when you're in a toxic culture where everybody speaks sideways, everybody's constantly antisocial because they're lead brains, and lead brains makes you antisocial, so everybody's always trying to manipulate and lie and get their way, and it doesn't matter who they kill or brutalize as long as they get what they want. And I guess that's the true moral of the church, is you get what you want no matter what. Like, regardless of what you do. That's why there is no good, there is no evil, there is only your desire and what you're gonna get. And I remember my cuddle buddy going on about wanting the secrets, but as she was getting higher up the fucking ladder, she kept telling me it's increasingly amoral. And I think about the stupid sacrifice of they poison you with lead so you lose your emotional connections. They later poison you with manganese so you lose your inhibitions and complex thought. And then they keep poisoning you with heavy metals until you're an empty husk that has nothing. And the only thing you want to do is drugs. And you'll do anything so you can do drugs. And you're no different than a fucking addict in the street, but these people are weird because they believe they're somehow separate. Like, you're a drug addict, dude. You're nothing more. You're empty, hollow. You can't connect with people in amazing, and you're miserable. That's the biggest thing I think about is, I remember my cuddle, but other members at the church, they have a thing about dropping LSD. They have like a miniature saying about like, you don't ever have to feel bad when you can drop LSD. But there are many members who have completely burned up their dopamine receptors. They can no longer feel joy naturally. They have to drop LSD and they have to drop mountains of it to cope with living in their miserable lives that are immiserated by the church, and they are fucking miserable. Like, and I remember there was this weird conversation I had with the wives where they're like, your needs are met, you can have sex here, you have the drugs, there's no need to need anything else, there's no need to go on adventures or live a life or do anything, you can just stay inside the temple forever doing drugs. Like, if these people really got their society they actually wanted, it would look like a fucking prison. And everybody would just report back to their rooms where they get high on LSD and smile and giggle to themselves, and then they'd go back to work. That would be their fucking bare bones. Like, there wouldn't be any inhibitions, no complex thought, nobody thinking, nobody coming up with new ideas, new crafts, new anything. There wouldn't be any fun. It would just be a sad, gray world of just maximum human suffering to serve the malignant narcissist who has control issues because he was fucked in the ass. I think the moral of my story when it comes to villains is every villain in every continuity ever at some point should be fucked in the ass. Like, these people believe they're the good guys because they were raped, and that's part of the victim brain. There's an entire thing, malignant narcissists and victim brains, and I remember Gannon would do it a lot. I remember even Officer Fred did it, and obviously Stu did it. The victim. I'm the victim. I'm doing the horrible shit. I'm the victim. But at the same time, they love murdering and they love killing, but they're the victim in it. Like, and you need to understand that they're not evil. They're just the victim in every. And you're not the victim. And what that does is remove agency. And a big chunk. My father does this. Runs from fucking agency, runs screaming from it as if it's some type of disease, as if it's scary, and it's a huge chunk of the psychology at the church. You run from agency. Your entire excuse is, the church told me to. That's it. There's no, like, you shouldn't have done that, you should have fucked off, you shouldn't have killed that person, you shouldn't have done those things. It is, the church told me to. That is it. There isn't anything smart about it. There's nothing intelligent that comes out of the people's brains. They just want to murder people and just like and get back to doing drugs. Like they're so immiserated. I remember even the guys that were watching me at Papa John started freaking out. They'd start screaming they want to go home or they can't work and they can't stay late. They can't work for more than a couple hours and they can't because they have to get high. Even my dumbass manager who's a member of the church, she would freak the fuck out at work and start like she starts screaming about having sex with her dad or being abused or raping somebody else, like assaulting other people, and she just victim, victim. No, you're not the victim. Okay. And I think like Gannon's a great example because he was all like, I killed her, but I'm the victim. No, the dead person, no. I'm the victim. I'm victim. No, you're not. The dead person is the victim, you piece of shit. Okay. No, you're not. And even Gannon openly admitted he loves murdering people. Because it's a malignant narcissist thing. They love human suffering. I have a theory about that. And I think the reason these people love hurting people is because the lead stops them from feeling their emotions. So they become jealous of people, and I think it is pure envy. I think because they say in psychology, envy is a core emotional trait. It's one of your earliest emotions is jealousy. Even monkeys feel jealousy. And I would argue that because of the lead and all the heavy metal exposure, the only emotion available to these people who are severely emotionally stunted is jealousy. And I would argue that when they see other people in pain or misery, they are actually jealous because that person is feeling something. And they themselves don't know how to process their emotions, so what comes on is them staring and smiling because they're enjoying this pain that other people are going through because they're jealous because they want it for themselves. And I would even, like, when I say Stu's fucking miserable, just fucking kill him. That's not a joke. He is fucking miserable. And I would argue he's just too much of a fucking coward to do himself in. Like, and I think every one of these people would rather be fucking dead, and I think they're actually jealous of the dead. Like, I legitimately believe that as a statement. I would argue that their jealousy is a jealousy of everyone and everything in existence. They are jealous of hobos. They're jealous of the rich. They're jealous of life itself. They are jealous of you having anything or nothing. They do not care. They want it for themselves, and they don't want anybody else to have it because nobody else is allowed to have it because these assholes are entitled to everything, even though that same psychology makes them miserable. And they are fucking miserable. The church is a misery machine. It causes nothing but fucking suffering. When I get into this, my entire life, like, I have a dumbass friend. He was autistic. I'm gonna call him Taco. Fucking Taco was I thought he was just stupid. I thought he was like retarded because he would break my shit and ruin my stuff. And then later on, I found out years later, he turned schizophrenic and started freaking out. And one day he just straight up confessed to me that he was ruining my life because he was fucking jealous. He couldn't fucking help himself. He had to destroy everything. He had to break my toys. He had to break my Xbox. Even if I got something for the both of us, he would deliberately break it. One time I bought him these laser guns for Christmas, and he deliberately broke those to teach me a lesson. And this is spite brain, by the way. This is what happens when you're emotionally stunted. Spite becomes the core trait of your personality. So you're passive aggressive and nobody fucking likes you because you think like a fucking retard. Like, and I always assumed Josh was actually, and then he explains to me that no, even talking to girls I knew, he would start downplaying me and being a cock and lying. And like, dude, he would just do this shit like nonstop. And then he explains to me it was my fault because I made him jealous. And I was just like, I am not responsible for your emotions. Believe it or not, it is not other people's responsibilities to deal with your emotions. They are your emotions, which is why you need to learn to process them instead of going around murdering people like a stupid fuck. Or breaking their shit like a stupid fuck. My father notoriously he would hear good things happen to my Aunt Joy and he'd just lose his fucking mind because he loves human suffering. And this is the thing, emotionally stunted people, malignant narcissists, they love human suffering. They cannot get enough. My father will never be satiated. He has to cause as much misery as he can, and if he's not causing misery, he's fucking miserable because it's the only dopamine that gets through that lead brain barrier of his. And I would argue it's the same thing. I don't even, like, I know it's associated with emotionally stunted, but I would argue the lead makes it even worse. Okay? Because there is a distinct love of human suffering. Even Stu went on a thing telling me about how he absolutely loves, like, hurting people and just can't get a fuck enough of it. And I would argue, once again, it's jealousy. He wishes somebody was doing that to him. And I would argue every church leader is the same way. They wish somebody was mutilating, beating, and raping them. Like, I think, like, their depravity knows no end. And in their brain, they're superior beings, but they can't process their emotions and they don't have introspective. 5-year-old develops introspective. My dog is introspective. Like, superior to what? Superior to a lizard? No, well, not even so. They are lizard brains. They think like reptiles, and they behave like reptiles. There's only familiarity, there's no connection, and there's no love in anything they do. But they desperately want love. They want it, but they're not gonna give it. The dumb bitch I worked with, that was a manager, I remember her, like, literally fucking harassing me for no fucking reason because I said I wanted to give SSBBW Mary Bowberry the unconditional love she didn't get as a kid. And I said it as a joke, but I was just like, man, like, you don't really see fat chicks that look like a stack of pancakes when they're sitting, you know. But, and she got jealous of that and started harassing me about that statement because she wants that unconditional love, but she doesn't just want it from me. She wants it from everybody. Okay, the ultimate hollow husk, and I guess in Indian mythology, there's this creature called a parademon. It's got black eyes and big teeth, and it's a large, bloated, disgusting belly, and the creature lives off of human suffering, and it causes as much misery everywhere it can because it's the only thing that gives this damn thing dopamine, because this stupid creature isn't connected with itself. It's not connected with anything meaningful around it, and it's in an enmeshment. And an enmeshment's a relationship without emotion, so it's fucking miserable. And because it's miserable, it's jealous of everybody else that's happy. But it's a self-immiserating creature that doesn't make itself happy. It goes around being fucking miserable and then torturing other people because it made itself miserable. Like, fucking, are you retarded? Are you dumb? Are you fucking, like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't, like, but the fact that these things have existed since the dawn of time, meaning emotionally stunted people, I think the parademon is just another emotionally stunted person, and it's because the parademon is empty and hollow. It craves material things, and emotionally stunted people are materialistic. They love stuff and things, okay? Because stuff and things can't hurt their emotions. Stuff and things can't rape them. Okay, so they absolutely love stuff and things. Yeah. I have hated these fuckers forever, so there is a sense of irony that these faggots are gonna fucking kill me, but like, holy shit, dude. It's one thing to be emotionally stunted and not know, but it's another thing to be emotionally stunted and proud that you're moderately retarded. Like, what the fuck, man? And it makes sense that malignant narcissists can communicate with these people in the way that they do because they are emotionally stunted themselves. And there's an entire thing that emotionally stunted people can communicate almost in an autistic way with one another because they're autistic. Like, and malignant narcissists weirdly can communicate with autistic people too, so there's a complete full 360 circle with these people that I would argue should have them relabeled as autistic. Okay? And I think that would solve a large amount of our problems. And I don't believe, I've been told 100 times emotionally stunted people can change. I don't believe that. I don't think they can. My father has been the same dumbass his entire fucking life. He isn't gonna change now. My mother's not gonna change. My aunt's not gonna change. These people can't change because they can't learn. Part of changing is learning. If you could actually learn, you wouldn't be emotionally stunted to begin with. Okay? Full circle, one direction. Learning and emotionally stunted do not go hand in hand. And because these guys are void of attachments, emotional attachments, they're psychopathic. They can murder. Like, and like I said, it goes full circle. Like, I don't... Forever on that carousel of suffering, man. Yeah. I guess this video is just the irony of hating, of being terrorized by something. I want to be clear on this. Terrorized my entire life by emotionally stunted retards who can't fucking think. And are mad as fuck that I'm smart. And they're not mad as fuck. They're jealous as fuck that I'm smarter than them. They're jealous as fuck that I know better. They're jealous as fuck. They're jealous of everything I do. And I'm the man that has nothing. And they are extremely jealous of that too. Like, my father tells a story of seeing a guy eating a hot dog and wanting a hot dog so bad, but there wasn't any place that made hot dogs with everything on it. So he saw the guy throwing out that half of a hot dog, and then he went and ate the hot dog out of the garbage. But he got that hot dog, and that's what I don't understand. He got what he wanted. It's just, you're fucking stupid. Quit being stupid.